Okay. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la yai la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la yai la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la yai la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la yai la. Yai la 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 la. I think you know by now. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la yai la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la yai la. Yai la 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 la. Everybody. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Cantor.
Shabbat Shalom.
Just a short while ago, we were in this space with a gaggle of little small people running all over the place. One of the incredible things about being a part of a synagogue is that we get to engage on all different parts of who we are. At different ages, in different ways, one of the things that's incredible, I think, about who we are is that we engage together through rituals of sweetness, through challah and juice, but also with our heart, our mind, our whole being is a part of this evening and this experience. And so this evening, as we join together, regardless of where we are, and so I want to offer a special welcome and Shabbat Shalom to everyone who's joining us online, on Facebook and on YouTube, as well as on tilb.org. At tilb.org, you'll be able to offer the names of those that you're thinking of in the chat when we get to our memorial prayer, when we get to our prayer of healing. And I invite you to share in the chat right now a Shabbat Shalom, a welcome to one another. Wherever we are, however we come to this space, we get to come to this space with our whole being. Our hearts have the opportunity this evening to bring in Shabbat with a whole seed of joy, and so we have a treat of music for each of us this evening. You'll notice that we have David York playing music. David, it is always so good to be with you and share Shabbat together. It is always so good to hear the music that you bring. When I hear the songs and there is piano, it is your hands playing it. It is your music that brings this space for me. Thank you for being here with all of us. And Daniel, it is a gift to have you here. I know that this is a space that you've never been in before. That you don't. No. Daniel, this is.
Tell me where the bathroom is.
right. Actually, we'll get to that in just a moment. It's a gift to be able to have your presence here, your incredible music. There are many different ways that we speak in this world. All of them different ways of conversation, and perhaps one of the most profound is through music. The gift of your talent and your heart and soul through it is a real treat for us this evening. Thank you, Daniel, for being here. And for all of us, we are going to offer this evening music with our voices, and we have another treat. I won't speak too much about it, but I will offer a special welcome to Rabbi Novak Winer, who is here to teach us this evening. We have in our tradition this idea that we should do things that are celebratory, things that feed our hearts because, if not for any other reason, we enjoy them. And learning in our tradition is an act of enjoyment. In fact, perhaps more for another time, but we think that the service itself actually is surrounded around, originally and specifically, the act of learning something new together. We've expanded that together and this in our tradition by learning something through reflection, something through rest, and this evening we will have the opportunity to learn in a very formal and direct way, but more later. Rabbi Novak Winer, it's a joy to have you here. Thank you for being here. Well, let's continue to bring in this evening. Let's continue to bring our whole selves to this night. And so I invite us to sing L'chuna Ranana. Together as one, let us join our voices together. Let's sing, page 19.
Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, lie, la, lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, 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 la, lie, 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 yai, lie, la, lie, 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 yai, lie, la, lie, lie, la, lie, yai, lie, la, lie, 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 yai, lie, la, lie, 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 yai, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lechu niranin al Adonai, naria litzur yishenu, nekad mafanav betoda, bizmirod naria lo, bizmirod naria lo. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, 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 la, lie, 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 la, lie, 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 lie. Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, 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 la, lie, 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 la, lie, 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 lie.
We have a tradition that continues to unfold each and every generation. As we look at it again with new eyes, with new perspectives, it reveals more and more each time we learn from it. And so, a handful of years ago, only in Jewish tradition can we say, only a few hundred years ago, we had a new innovation. There's a group of people that said, on Friday night, I feel like I want something more. I want something to help me really bring myself into the space of praying. And so they added a section to the service, Kabbalat Mitzvah, an opportunity that, as you know, the great Yiddish expression, before I speak, I'd like to say a few words, right? Before we pray, we offer a little bit of prayer. And so when we get to this, for this next prayer, we're going to draw from a poem written in more recent years that likens the moment of Shabbat to two people bringing their lives together, and not yet, not now, but when we get to the final verse of our prayer, we're going to turn to the door through which we entered our sanctuary, welcoming in Shabbat as if she were a bride here on her wedding day. Another way of welcoming in this day of Shabbat, of resting and enjoying this day with our whole being. Let's join together, page 20.
lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Ishmianu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem u'tiferet ve'litila lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela hitoreri kiva orech kumi ori Uri shidaberi kevod Adonai alaych nigla lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola Toch emunei yom segula Boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Shalom malachei Shalom malachei Elyon malachei Shalom
We begin Shabbat in a very deliberate way. By noting light in our lives, we know even through psychology that when we are able to see and pay attention to the things that are good in our world, it lifts us up. And so, this Shabbat, if you have something particular to celebrate from this past week, I'd like to invite you to help us bring Shabbat in with that little bit of light. So I'll invite anyone who has something to celebrate from this past week to come on up. Let's light Shabbat candles together. The rest of the congregation, I'd like to invite you to please be seated, but not before you consider coming up. If you think maybe, it means yes. Come on up.
That's okay.
Bear with us for a moment.
Baruch atah Adonai Elohim shel Shabbat.
My son finished his finals this week of his second quarter in college.
Son finished his finals, second quarter in college. Yeah.
And my publicist just let us know that the networks are seriously taking a look at our project.
The networks are seriously looking at your
The
project.
project,
All
yeah.
right, all right. Alex.
I got accepted into SADO, which is my first choice for high school.
Hey, all right. Alex is going to Sato. Hey.
Sweet.
Hi, mine's going to take a minute. Is that all right?
That's okay. Tell us.
Okay. I'm not even a member, but Sadie said this was Women's Night, so here I am. So I've been going through a dark period for the last several months. A friend of mine was just made a judge, and it's something that she should have had happen about 10 years ago, but because of some implicit bias, it didn't happen. And it just did. And she finally got that judicial appointment from the governor. She was having her enrobing ceremony, which is when you're sworn in, at Union Station. I live in Long Beach. My husband isn't here to take me. And so I said to Terry, I don't know if I'm coming. She said, oh no, you're coming, I know you are. So I took a taxi, because I'm not driving at 5 o'clock in Los Angeles to Union Station during the week. I took a taxi and I almost canceled. The enrobing ceremony happened, I was there, it was beautiful. And on the way out, a friend said, I want to introduce you to Huey. He's a really big deal judge. And I said, oh, fine, love to. And she introduced me to Huey and he said, Sherry, oh, you're the one we couldn't start without. And I said, what? And he said, I kept saying to Terry, and Terry kept saying, we can't start until Sherry comes. So my 2 points of light. One, my friend got the appointment that she has been deserving for years, and I got a lesson that I was a valued friend. Good.
Sherry, sometimes justice means the right people being in the right places, right?
Was lovely.
I want to invite us to see this light. God, we know that each and every week we run through our lives and there is light around us. And so this Shabbat, we have the gift of being able to stop, take a step back, and see the light right in front of us. Baruch atah Adonai hatov hametiv. Blessed are you, the one who is the source of these good things. Amen. Mazel tov. Mazel tov to each of you. Congratulations. Well, we continue now having this light and celebration in our community, turning to one another with the words of Baruch Hu. You'll find these words on page 28 of our prayer books. I'd like to invite us to please rise in body or in spirit.
Lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai.
Page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvona mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochabim, b'mishmeroteim b'rakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, kolel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, uma'avdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai tzavaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch alenu leolam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochvecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotefot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiyot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem emet.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot. We believe that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. And we know that there is a better place, there is a promised land, and that there is a winding way to that promise that always passes through the wilderness. And we affirm here and now that there is quite simply no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Page 40.
Micha mocha oilim Adonai Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh Nora Tehilot
Tehilot
Oseh
Oseh
Felech לפניך, כהים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי, ענו ואמרו, אדוני,
Adonai,
ימלוך
Imloch,
לעולם
Leolam,
ועד.
Vaed,
Adonai,
Adonai,
ימלוך
Imloch,
לעולם ועד. יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי, לי לי, יאי לי לי לי, יאי לי 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 לי. אדוני,
Adonai,
ימלוך
Imloch,
לעולם
Leolam,
ועד.
Vaed,
אדוני,
Adonai,
ימלוך
Imloch,
לעולם ועד.
Well, the next prayer in our liturgy is one that calls to mind the comfort of a sacred home. There is nothing quite like being in a space where everything just seems to feel right, where you are comforted, where the people around you are surrounded around you because of love, and quite simply, you know what the next steps are. You know what it is that the next thing is. And so, for all of us who thought that was Hashkivenu, it's not going to be Hashkivenu.
Piece of Hashkivenu.
We're going to get a little piece of it, yeah. We have a special prayer for us this evening that draws in that theme and those words of Hashkivenu and calls to mind the power of being in a space where we are so at peace that we even feel that there's a presence guiding each and every one of our steps. We'll sing together on page 373.
Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps, and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps, and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Oh, guide my steps. Oh, guide my steps.
We continue on page 46. I'd like to invite us to rise in body or in spirit.
Lie, lie, lie. Lie, lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai. Yai lai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Adonai, Sfatai tiftach, Ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, Sfatai tiftach, Ufi agid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chastei Avot ve'imachot, Umevi Geula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah, Rav le'Hoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir rasurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha bal gevurot, Umidomelach, Melech memit, Umechaya, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Ukdoshim bechol yom, Yehallelecha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please continue silently with the words that are in your heart or in your siddur. And when you've done with your personal prayers, you may be seated. We'll join together on page 62. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Nice to see everyone from this side. It is my pleasure this evening to introduce this year's Pilger Scholar in Residence. Each year, Temple Israel brings a Pilger Scholar or leader in the field of social justice or education to share their work and teachings with our community. We are grateful for the Pilger family's vision and support of adult learning and growth for our congregants and beyond. Sometimes as professionals, we are lucky enough to meet people along our journey who share their passion and expertise with us, inspiring us to think more deeply about our own work. Mentors who challenge us to question and take on new responsibilities. And if we are fortunate enough, those mentors become colleagues. And if we are truly blessed, those colleagues become friends. When I first graduated from Hebrew Union College in 2000 and began my career here at Temple Israel, I attended my first National Association of Temple Educators Conference in San Francisco. As a brand new Jewish educator, I was inspired by my new colleagues and the leadership of our professional association. At that conference 23 years ago, I first met Rabbi Laura Novak Winer, as she was installed as the president of then NATE, now known as the Association of Reformed Jewish Educators. I went to her workshops and listened to her present many a time at association meetings. As my involvement with ARJE grew, I had the opportunity to work more closely with Laura, most notably our many years together on the ARJE National Conference Committee. Through countless conversations about conference speakers and details like menu selections and allergies, I developed a keen understanding of Rabbi Laura's unmatched work ethic and her commitment to pushing the field of Jewish education forward. And as these years of shared passion for community and education have passed, I've had the pleasure of working with her in additional settings, including her alma mater, the School of Education at the Hebrew Union College, and summers together on the faculty of URJ Camp Newman. To share more of her formal accomplishments, Rabbi Laura Novak Winer is the director of the Master of Educational Leadership program at the Hebrew Union College's Rhea Hirsch School of Education in Los Angeles. She has worked in and with a variety of afternoon school settings, and her current research focuses on Israel education and the supplementary school setting. She currently serves as the co-chair of HUC-JIR's Teshuvah Working Group, which I'm sure we'll hear more about this evening, whose mission it is to address the individual and institutional misconduct of the past in order to bring healing to those who were harmed by harassment, discrimination, and other forms of misconduct at the College Institute, and meet her obligations as a Jewish institution. Laura has been published in a variety of academic and online journals and is a regular contributor to Moment Magazine's Ask the Rabbis column. She was also the editor of several curricula, many of which we have used here at Temple Israel's Torah Center. As I mentioned, Laura is the past president of the Association of Reformed Jewish Educators. She earned her Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of California, Santa Barbara, and Master of Arts in Jewish Education from the Rhea Hirsch School of Education, and Rabbinic Ordination at HUC-JIR. And if that wasn't enough, she also has her doctorate in education from the Jewish Theological Seminary, Davidson School of Graduate Education. She lives in Fresno, and part-time in Santa Monica, which you'll hear more about. But in Fresno, she lives with her husband, Rabbi Rick Winer, another delightful colleague of mine. She's also the proud mother of 2 adult sons, Max and Saul, both talented and mensches in their own right. It is my pleasure to introduce to all of you the woman who continues to remind me the teachings of Pirkei Avot, that it is not our responsibility to finish the work, but we are not free to not begin it as well. My pleasure to introduce to all of you my dear mentor, colleague, friend, and teacher, soon to be all of your teacher, Rabbi Laura Novak Winer. Welcome to Temple Israel.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you very much, Cantor and Rabbi and Sharon, and everybody else who's welcomed me so warmly. I want to say that I also grew up in a synagogue that totally renovated itself, and I couldn't find the bathroom for the first 5 times I went, so I feel your pain. And I also want to say that as I arrived here and was looking at the pictures, I was reminded of one of my first mentors, Rabbi Wally Kelter, may he rest in peace, who was my teacher at HUC. So thank you, everybody. It's an honor to be here. Before I begin, I want to give a word of caution to some of you of what I share with you tonight might be potentially a little disturbing or upsetting, as I intend to speak about navigating the processes and challenges of addressing instances of misogyny and sexual harassment and abuse and harm. And if someone needs to step away, I nor anyone else in the room will be offended or upset, and you should take care of yourself. So it was, can you all hear me? Am I okay on the microphone? You want me a little closer? Okay. There we go. How's that? So it was 1994 on the HUC campus in Cincinnati, and I was a 4th-year rabbinic student who had completed my master's degree, as you heard from Sharon. I had already completed my master's degree in Jewish education, and I had just moved to Ohio to complete my rabbinical school studies. And I wanted to study with some of the more, dare I say, famous or infamous faculty. And I had been hearing about them for years, and they were prominent figures in American Jewish thought. So Dr. Alvin Reines was a theologian renowned for his theology of polydoxy, which I still don't completely understand. He was teaching a class on the philosophy of education. And I thought, well, this is a good place for me to learn about his ideology and his philosophy. I knew a variety of philosophies and ideologies of Jewish education, and this will be a way for me to learn with this professor and have some knowledge under my belt with which to compare his unique ideas. And that was all well and good until I asked a question. I admit I do not remember what the topic of conversation was, nor do I remember the question that I asked, but those who know me know that my question would have come from a place of respect and sincere intellectual curiosity rather than impertinence. And he did not respond well to my probing question. In response, he shouted, "It's a really good thing you're a girl." Yeah. So that was not the first, nor very much not the last time that I experienced misogyny from within the Jewish community. My intellect being put into question because of my gender, my body being objectified, such as that congregant who pinches my tush as he walks by me at Oneg, my body being praised rather than my professional skills. If I had a rabbi as pretty as you when I was in religious school, I would have stayed. Or my work being valued less than male colleagues, resulting in pay discrimination. When the hashtag #MeToo movement burst into our collective consciousness in 2017, the Jewish world began its own process of reckoning with its past and present vis-a-vis the treatment of women, of Jews of color, and of those who identify as LGBTQ+ in our communities. This came to a head in the Reform Jewish world in 2021 when survivors began to speak out more openly and more vociferously about the abuse and discrimination and harassment they experienced at the hands of professors at the Hebrew Union College, clergy and leaders in Reform congregations, as well as other leaders in our Reform youth movement and even in our summer camps. This has been very, very hard. Old wounds have been ripped open, difficult memories unearthed, victims and survivors have been re-traumatized, and for some, former teachers, colleagues, and even heroes are suddenly not the persons we knew or remembered them to be. I see nodding in the room. In the last 18 to 24 months, the leading organizations of our movement have individually and collectively taken on the much-needed process of tshuva, repentance and repair, accountability and change. And last March, the provost of the Hebrew Union College asked me to take on the leadership of one aspect of this work, to co-chair a working group that would create processes and rituals of healing and repair for former staff and faculty, former students and alumni who experienced harm while they were at the college. Our primary focus of this working group, as Sharon named it, the Tshuva working group, has been to be vigilantly survivor-centered in every aspect of this work. We spent the first couple months listening and learning, listening to victim survivors, listening to allies who found themselves unable to effectuate change despite their efforts to do so, learning from experts and teachers in the areas of tshuva and restorative justice. As Jews, we're familiar with tshuva when it applies to the individual. But what does that process look like when it's an institution that needs to do the work? And throughout this process, we've come to notice a variety of ethical dilemmas that exist in this work. And I want to explore with you tonight two of these dilemmas. Investigating these dilemmas may help us understand some of the discourse we hear taking place not only in our Jewish institutions, but also in our workplaces, in our schools, and our civic arenas as well. So, spoiler alert, I do not have solutions to how we address these ethical dilemmas. That's what makes them ethical dilemmas. So the first ethical dilemma, I call it changing the rules of the game. Can we judge people's past behavior by current day standards? In some instances, yes. We see perpetrators of past harms, the Harvey Weinsteins and the Bill Cosbys of the world, now being held responsible for their illegal and unethical behavior. And we should continue to pave this path towards justice. But what about those who were not harm doers, but were involved in other ways? What about those who were knowing bystanders or enablers of this bad behavior? In the context of HUC, several victim survivors have articulated this dilemma to me in this way. There are people, some of whom are still living, who I know and I love, who stood by pretty much silently, even though they knew this stuff was going on. How do we address that? Can we just say, well, that's the way it was back in those days? We, as women or LGBTQ plus identified individuals or people of color, just had to suffer through it? These folks knew that, and while they may have offered a sympathetic ear, They didn't actually do anything to bring about change in expectations or standards of behavior. So perhaps we can gain some insight from the Jewish tradition, right? I am a rabbi and a Jewish educator, so we have to go to our tradition to see what we can learn. The rabbis of the Midrash debate a related question in considering the deeds of Noah and Abraham. They ask, who was more righteous? Noah, who is called a righteous man, blameless in his age, and was thus tasked by God to build the ark and to save himself, his family, and the animal kingdom from the flood? Or Abraham, who argues with God when God declares the intent to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? Who would would God destroy the whole city even if there are only 10 righteous people? Abraham argues. So the rabbis of the Midrash see one fundamental distinction between them. Noah is obedient. He walks with God. He makes no attempts to intervene. He simply saves himself from destruction. Abraham, on the other hand, acts to transform the situation. Though humble, Abraham is not content to merely be led. He confronts God. He challenges the decree. He insists on involvement. He insists that God's way isn't the most just way and proposes an alternative path to justice. In this regard, he, Abraham, was a prophet in his time and the more righteous. Furthermore, we learn from this that Rabbi Hillel teaches that the most valuable lesson to be learned from Noah is, do not be sure of your own virtues until the day you die. I'm going to repeat that because when I read that, I was like, we got to hold on to that. This is from the Talmud, from Pirkei Avot. Do not be sure of your own virtues until the day you die. In many ways, the enablers of the past were like Noah. They didn't do anything wrong. They did what was expected of them. But they were also not like Abraham. They didn't call out the wrongdoing, and they were not prophets in their time. Today, the rules of the game are different. Enablers are called out for their enabling and even punished for it. This was the case of the former California State Chancellor, Dr. Joseph Castro, who maybe you have heard about him because he was here in Long Beach for a while after he left Fresno, right? He was the president of Fresno State, right, where I live in Fresno State. I got to know him and his family, and then he became the chancellor of all the Cal State systems and lived here in Long Beach, right? So while he was president at Fresno State, he allegedly enabled a perpetrator of sexual harassment to remain in his job, and he even wrote letters of recommendation for that person when he was forced to resign and find a new job. So by what standards are we to judge the enablers and the bystanders of the past? By those of yesterday or those of today? Dilemma number 2. Navigating, meeting survivors' needs, protecting people, and not canceling people outright. How do we actually do that? So what is cancel culture? Cancel culture can be both justified and problematic. I personally canceled Mel Gibson and stopped watching his movies when I learned he was an anti-Semite. I changed the channel on the radio when Michael Jackson songs come on, except for maybe if it's when he was little in the Jackson 5. I applaud Peloton for removing any exercise class that included Kanye music. I was very saddened today that one of my favorite former Los Angeles Dodgers, Justin Turner, posted something on Instagram today with Kanye music on it, and I reposted it. And tagged him, very upset with Justin Turner. Sorry. Because Kanye is also an anti-Semite. In these instances, when we cancel someone and their work, we're taking a stand and we're saying, I do not condone their behavior or their beliefs. Yet sometimes it isn't that simple. Sometimes we have to grapple with whether or not we can still learn from their research, sing their beautiful music and moving liturgy, read their award-winning writings despite their egregious and immoral behavior. Consider the case of the now discredited Jewish sociologist Stephen M. Cohen. In 2018, allegations of sexual harassment were made against Cohen by several women, and for decades, he was one of the prominent voices of Jewish continuity conversations. His research, quote, shaped how the organized Jewish community views itself and sets its priorities. He promulgated a narrative that rising intermarriage rates and declining Jewish birth rates correlate with lower rates of Jewish observance and affiliation. And because of that narrative, millions of dollars worth of programmatic initiatives were created out of his research and his priorities. Yet, those communal priorities were influenced by his vision of what makes a good Jewish life. His critics assert that the narrative that he preached created norms which made it okay to tell women how to use their bodies, whom to marry, when to have babies, and how to allocate their time. His narrative told people who fall outside of the parameters set primarily by men that their ways of being Jewish are not valued or valuable. So, what are we to do now with a career worth of research? Do we throw it all away? What are we to do with the music of Bon Yeshur or Shlomo Carlebach, both of whom have also been found to be perpetrators of harassing behavior against women? Are we to no longer sing their music, though for decades we did and we were inspired by it? Rather than canceling someone altogether, some have suggested the use of the asterisk, much like it's used in sports, right? An asterisk attached to a sporting record indicates that it's somehow tainted. Can we continue to sing Schur or Carlebach or cite Cohen with that asterisk? A verbal or written disclaimer that this composer, this researcher, this artist has committed moral injury, and we need to name it and remember it while still finding meaning in their work? Does it have to be all or nothing? Again, perhaps our tradition can offer us some insight into this dilemma. So the Torah allows for us to blot out, to cancel our enemies or those who seek to do us harm. Amalek, the grandson of Esau and the father of the Amalekite nation, became the enemy of the Israelites as they sought to settle in the land of Israel after escaping slavery in Egypt. And in Deuteronomy 25, the Israelites are commanded to blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven because of what he did to them as they were coming out of Egypt. So great did the hatred of the Amalekites become in Jewish tradition that later enemies have become associated with the Amalekite descendants, such as our favorite enemy from just a couple weeks ago, Haman. Boo. Thank you. Thank you. More modern interpretations of this commandment to blot out Amalek suggest that rather than thinking about the Amalekites as a particular nation, we should consider Amalekites to be those who prey on the weak, who dishonor God, who bring about pain and create darkness in the world. With this interpretation in mind, maybe it's okay to cancel Stephen Cohen and Bill Cosby and all the others like them. Yet, on the other hand, we might consider a lesson offered by the Talmud and its content. The Talmud records several hundred years of rabbinic stories and debates on matters of Jewish law. The Talmud not only allows for diversity of opinion, but also records those diverse opinions. Much like our own Supreme Court, the Talmud often records not just the judgment, but also the dissenting or minor opinions. So does Judaism endorse cancel culture? Judaism does cherish multiplicity of ideas and opinions. You know all the jokes. 4 Jews, 5 opinions, or the lone Jew stranded on an island who builds 2 synagogues, the one she goes to and the one she wouldn't be caught dead in, right? But Judaism certainly does not endorse the idea that every idea is worthy of consideration. And some ideas and their purveyors are considered too dangerous or detrimental to be allowed to circulate freely. The challenge is determining where those lines ought to be drawn. So as I stated at the beginning, I don't have answers to these dilemmas. Oftentimes when faced with an ethical dilemma, the way forward is not to select one option or the other, but rather to find a creative third way, one that allows us to hold a variety of values. And as I continue to work with the college and the Tshuva working group in finding a path towards justice and healing for those who are victims, survivors of the moral injuries inflicted upon them, this is what I'm aiming to do, to find that creative third way, a way that continues to center the victim survivors and their experiences, a way that lives up to and into our Jewish values and traditions, and a way that recognizes the humanity of all involved. And as humans, none of us is perfect. And a way that brings us a new wholeness into our Jewish community and into the world. Can you hear Ratzon? May it be so. Shabbat Shalom.
Yashar Koach, Rabbi Novak Winer. You know, it strikes me as this moment of Shabbat reflects very much the work that you're doing right now. I think there's a reason why we set parameters around the things that we're able to do on Shabbat so that we have to stop and reflect and think about the right way to move forward. Given that you are at the helm of this work, I am confident of its positive and strong way forward. Thank you for doing this work. Thank you for offering these words and bringing us to this place as a community to support. We know that prayer also is an opportunity to do that same work with our hearts and our souls, even as we reflect and think about the right way forward. And so we're also going to take a moment to stop this Shabbat and offer a prayer for healing. Before I mention any of the names of individuals in our community who are in need of that healing, I'd like to include in that our Jewish community as a whole. We have a lot of work to do. Thank you for being the one to bring us forward in it. For those of us who are here in our sanctuary, I invite us as well to turn to our pamphlets, to think about those who are in need of healing, and you'll find the names of everyone here in our pamphlets. If there's someone that you notice on this pamphlet, you haven't talked to them in a while, you haven't seen them in a little bit, I invite you to send them a note, offer a phone call, share with them that you're thinking of them. That is one of the ways that healing takes place. And for those of us who are online, I invite you to share the names of those that you're thinking of in the chat at this time. For all of us, I'd like to especially bring to mind those in our community who have recently come on to our Misha Be'ach list. So together our hearts are with Harriet Einhorn, Joel Epstein, Karen Fried and Chuck Leff, Robin Schaefer, Lauren Brownstein, Shelley Fuchs-Darman, Joanne Lan, and Shoshana Stotland. And together, if you are thinking of someone in particular this Shabbat, you'd like to share their name out loud so that we can all hold that person in our hearts, I'd like to invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. This Shabbat, we also hold in our hearts Carol Owens, Nadine Picard, and Ron Picard. Let's turn to page 253 as we offer these words together.
Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu, mekor habracha. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
Well, I'd now like to call up a member of our board of directors to offer some announcements this evening of what's going on at Temple Israel. Always amazes me and surprises me how much takes place in just a short week at Temple Israel. Ron Artstein, please share. Should be on.
Can people hear me? Can people hear me? Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Happy month of Nisan. I guess we're already a few days into it, but still, it's a happy. So I'm, for those who don't know me, I mean, most of you do know me, but I'm Ron Artstein. I'm secretary of the board. And so first of all, and I'm here to talk, just like Rabbi said, about some things that are happening here. So first of all, thanks for joining us for our Pilger Scholar In Residence weekend. Generously funded by Temple Israel's Foundation's Pilger Lectureship Fund. And we have Rabbi Novak Winer. Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, Rabbi Novak Winer. And we're going to hear from her a lot more throughout this weekend. So tomorrow morning we have Torah study at 8:45 a.m., Parashat Vayikra, offering our best selves. Then at 11:30, we have, tomorrow at 11:30, there's going to be Shabbat Lunch at Learn, 50 Years of Women in the Rabbinate. And on Sunday, join Rabbi Winer for, Rabbi Novak Winer, I should say, for learning and discussion on reform roots and resolve in the reproductive justice movement. Tomorrow also there's going to be a service in between Rabbi Novak Winer's lectures. It's billed here as a senior Shabbat service, but it's really for everyone. So besides, what else are we going to do between the lectures? I mean, it's like, we need to find some way to pass the time. And we need to show our esteemed guests that we can gather a minyan here, right? So please, even if you're not a senior, everybody's welcome. It's going to be led by Rabbi Fox and Cantor Cooper. And next week is the temple retreat, I think, or congregational retreat, sorry. Next week, there's not going to be a service here in the evening because some of us are going to be at the retreat and others are celebrating Shabbat at home. And there's... Shabbat at home is Friday night.
Maybe Kim is inviting you to talk about what might be happening on Sunday. Is that what you're...
What might be happening on Sunday? I just talked about Rabbi Winer. I mentioned that, yeah. I think I mentioned that. Maybe I forgot to. Yeah. The Shabbat, there's something here that says... Oh, yeah. Sorry, I knew there was something here. I just don't feel like... Anyway, so Shabbat at home, people have been assigned... those who are not... Those poor souls like myself who are not going to the retreat have been assigned either being a host or a guest. But if you still want to participate, then call the temple and maybe we'll be able to find something for you. Find some guests for you or find a host for you. Also, it's not on this sheet, but here on the back of this sheet is the great Seder matchup, because just a few days after Shabbat at home is Passover Seder. And again, we're not having a Seder here. So it's going to be, we are doing a matchup. So, and 3 days ago, I talked to Cheryl, and I think we had more potential guests than we had hosts. So definitely if you have room, or if you can make room at your Passover Seder, please do it and tell Cheryl. And if you want to be a guest, also tell Cheryl, and we'll find something for you. And we have many classes and programs that meet weekly. Make sure to read this leaflet, or or view our calendar on the website if it's sometimes it's correct. And my general experience is this leaflet is a lot more accurate. I just want to call out two things. One is the Tanakh study group that Martine in the back there is doing. So that'll be on Thursday morning. And they're studying actually parts that are not in the Tanakh. Should be very interesting. And also on Thursday afternoon or evening, we have Cantor Cooper talking about women's, I think it's a second in the series, Women's Path to the Cantorate.
It is the second, but if you didn't come to the first, it's okay. Come to the second. I'll do a quick recap of the first. But come
Okay.
on, just come on to the second.
Right, okay. So we have women in the rabbinate tomorrow and women in the cantorate on Thursday, and between this we should be covered. If you ever have a question about how to attend our classes or programs, please look for our emails, and hold on, Steve, or call the temple office. Our staff is happy to help you, or ask Steve. Yes?
We also have a very important event happening on June the 10th. It's our annual Temple Gala, where we'll be honoring two well-deserving longtime Temple congregants, Rick and Linda Burney.
Rick, so I'll repeat this into the mic.
And hopefully you can attend.
Yeah, repeat this into the mic for the benefit of people remote. Temple Gala, June 10th, honoring Rick and Linda Burney. So please do your best to attend. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.
I'm going to add one more thing. If you'd like to go to a Seder before Passover, come to the Seder here. It's the Clue Workers' Justice Seder on April 4th at 6 p.m. So I will be there. Join me for that.
I believe this is actually the Clue Justice Seder for the entire Los Angeles area. People will be coming from all over LA, and we're hosting it here. We're very honored to have it here at Temple Israel. Cantor Cooper will be leading. Yeah. I should just mention also that the class that Cantor Cooper is leading also has a lot of different elements, including elements from Cantor Cooper's thesis. I'll speak up that it looks amazing. It looks like a really amazing class.
Thank you.
Of course. Well, we now have an opportunity in our service to bring in the people that can't help but come to mind whenever we gather for a sacred moment. I think one of the things that allows us to have meaningful moments, one of the things that is a critical part of a meaningful moment, is feeling that we are a part of something bigger than just this immediate time. We think about what might come after us and also who has come before us. And so each service we stop and take the time to think about those in recent days or at this time of the year in years past who have passed away. If you're joining us online, I want to invite you to share the names of those that you're thinking of in the chat online at this time. For all of us, I'd like to invite us to hold in our hearts those who are observing Shiva and Shloshim. And so as we remember Bill Raphael, our hearts go out to Heather. And as we remember Kay Melamed, our hearts go out to Marcia Wertheimer. As we remember Ruth Schoenberger, our hearts go out to Marcia as well. As we remember Ellen Kelson, our hearts go out to Dan and Rachel and Isaac and Abby. And as we remember Frida Ferris, our hearts go out to Dan and Joanne. As we remember Jamie Megan Hyde, our hearts go out to Audrey Hyde-Zoller, and Charles Hyde, and Joan, Lindsay, and Jared. Additionally, this Shabbat, we mark the yard site, the anniversary of the death of Harold Ash and Sylvia Beach, Ava Berliner and Lester Blatt, Marian Bowen and Margie Brawarny, Rita Bruderlein and Anna Chinsky, Walter Cohen and Gabrielle Fishkin, Robert Freed and Evelyn Goldberg, Audrey Frank, Beverly Handelman, Jeannie Jaffe, Edward Levitt, Lainey Lurie, Esther Matthews, Mel Morelli, Alfred Polak, Albert Ritzes and Joseph Rudis, Melvin Cipher and Lawrence Shatkin, Wayne Shilkret and Harvey Sultan, Walter Steele and Harriet Weiss, and Regina Zamost. I'd like as well to invite, if you are here in our sanctuary, for you to share the name of the person that you might be thinking of this particular Shabbat so that we can hold that person and you in our hearts as we offer this prayer. We additionally think of Sally Perlman, Lainey Kane, and Barbara Sachs. I'd like now to invite all of us to turn to the words on page 294 and to rise together as one in love and solidarity as we offer these words in the Mourner's Kaddish. Itgadal, Itgadash Shemeraba, Be'alma Divarach Riyate Ve'amlich Malchute, B'chayechon V'yomechon Uv'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala V'izman Kari V'imru, Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabba Mevarach Leolam Olmel Maya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh, Ita dar, vita lev, ita lal, shemei kudisha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'al kol yeshvei tevel. V'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha. May the memories of those near to us always be a source of blessing. I invite us together to say, Amen. Well, we have a closing song set right at the end of our prayer that we just offered, a nechemta, an invitation for goodness at the end of something that is difficult but necessary for us to delve into. And so I'll invite us to offer this song together, but for those who choose, I invite us also to maybe place a hand, an arm on the shoulders of the person next to you to offer that song together as one as we sing the words of Osei Shalom.
Osei. Is this the right song? Are we doing the Abby Ghosting? Okay.
There's more. Hold on. There's more than one Osei Shalom.
Yeah. Let me do this one. Okay, here we go.
Just in case anybody was wondering, we're in the key of C.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we're in the key of C.
No, we're in key of D.
Key of D.
Osei Shalom bimromav ya'aseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imeru ve'imeru Amen Amen Osei Shalom bimromav ya'aseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imeru ve'imeru Amen Amen Hu ya'aseh Shalom Hu ya'aseh Shalom Hu ya'aseh Shalom Hu ya'aseh Shalom Osei Shalom bimromav Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imeru ve'imeru Amen 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 Amen.
You'll forgive me for being thankful that we have been, watch this, in the key of D for the entire evening. Thank you, Daniel, for your music this evening, and thank you, David, for your music this evening as well, for bringing us into this space to be able to sing and have Shabbat with your powerful music. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to continue our celebration with a bit of sweetness just outside of our sanctuary. Let's join together for our Kiddush and Motzi. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
That pun didn't go over. D for Daniel and G for David. Did you get it? Got it? Okay.
Ah!
Sorry.
I knew I recognized you briefly, but I couldn't process it. I'm really sorry you've been in a dark time. I met you at just before this adoption.
Cantor is beautiful.
Thank
What's
you.
your thesis about it, if you don't mind me
It's
asking?
about the path that women.
The music is fine. but,
Okay,
you know,
good. I think that's a good idea.
It's time for Kiddush.